think his very strong criticism of nominalism and this temptation to disconnect from relatives and this disconnection between ideas and reality, this abstract ideology, or even to say idiocracy, it was the danger of totalitarian systems in Germany. And Hannah Arendt describes the origins of totalitarian regime as precisely this mixed of ideas and terror. So this violence and abstract ideas, ideology and violence. And we experience this historical danger in ex-USSR, and the temptation to make great again USSR ideology with the instrument of violence. We see now it's in Belarus, in Kazakhstan, and in Russia. You know, the International Organization Memorial is forbidden. So the memory about Gulag, about Holocaust in ex-USSR is officially forbidden by Kremlin authorities. And I think to put the good ideas of Fratelli Tutti in praxis, and to combine our philosophy and praxis, it's very important. So I think it is one of the most important thing after the experience of disconnections between good words and terrible violence, especially during Second World War and even after in USSR, in Gulag. And the clear memory about it and appeal for truth, speaking truth about it, I think is really the key to think and to do for common action, West and East together. Now in Kyiv we have very important dialogue between Catholics, Greek Catholics, Orthodox, Jews, Muslim from Crimea, etc., etc. And this diversity, this extraordinary mosaic of Ukraine, it's something really unique in Europe. I know pretty well France, Italy, Great Britain. So in Ukraine, we are closer maybe to the American context. And this is the thesis of Jose Casanova. So from sociological point of view, this pluralism is really something extraordinary. And so it's our everyday life. 40 millions of Ukraine every day hear and practice 2 languages, several traditions, several type of cultural communications. Millions of Ukraine now again abroad, very important diaspora in Canada, you know, even in government of Canada, we have Ukrainians in the United States, millions of Ukraine in Italy, etc. And with Ukraine, with Kyiv, we have constant communication. And I think this practice of diversity and this, I can say, everyday life between different manner to find to the proper word to the name and this diversity of possibilities to explain our emotions, our and very important music, for example, artistic tradition. This experience of diversity invite us to know better, to understand better, and to develop this culture in a practical sense, cultivate this encounter in our everyday life, in schools and universities, everywhere. Maybe it's even difficult for you to imagine how after Vatican II, this openness to the world, to another confessions, to this schismatic Orthodox, the encounter of Jew, Muslim, the spirit of Assisi. So this openness and the real practice of dialogue, maybe you are so in this atmosphere that it's really difficult for you to imagine why at the very center of Europe, again war, again clash of civilizations, again this language of Carl Schmitt, or friend or enemy. So this polarization of the mind of society, and we experience almost 8 years this war, and now great danger for our families, for our students, for our society, and for all our libraries, all our culture, all level of our country, in great risk to be destroyed. Why? Really because of this spirit of closed society, close, definitely close. So really I can't understand this nostalgia of USSR, of this criminal regime, this canceled the idea, even idea of open society. This is the concept of Henri Bergson, Nobel Prize, and Karl Popper. And after everyday life, again, I don't know if everybody in your park or supermarket know the origin of this idea of open society, but you already have 3 generations after the Second World War to practice this open society, to move, to be open, to go beyond the frontier. And our situation today is to be this frontier, to defend the human dignity, to defend the human right in so justice, freedom. It's really for us, I can say, a physical experience to stand together, stand together. It was our experience during the day and the nights in Maidan, so the revolution of dignity, 8 years ago, and myself and my 2 sons and daughter and my students, we experience this standing together the whole night, and at the morning to be at the university and to discuss the best author. I think that, you know, all this discussion and the choice of the Oxford Dictionary for this post-truth discourse in Ukrainian and in Russian and in other Slavonic languages. You know the word pravda, the same word to say truth and justice. So when you say truth, maybe spontaneously you don't think immediately about justice. But in our culture, it's the same word, pravda. So speaking truth, to say truth about our past, present, and maybe future, it's also to practice this justice, this righteousness. You know the importance in Bible of this word, righteousness. And it means that it's important also to think about the criticism of false interpretation of the facts of our reality, information, mass media, and this true conversation, and to avoid the false notes. It is no less important than the criticism. And I think that, you know, it is tone that makes the music. And the music for us in Ukraine today, in this context of the war, is unspeakably bitter and sad. And I think, nevertheless, I can hear your trust of your colleague in this project of the culture of encounter, and your expectation of courage from the people of Kiev, people of Ukraine, of another Europe, as said Nobel Prize Czeslaw Milosz. And I think that if this appeal, for example, prayer for peace of Francis today, may be taking in encounter, may be the turning point for the Europe, for the world, it will be the great witness. And even thinking about it, don't forget about it, to take it in our future, to understand that this is the real tone for possibility of musics, and not cacophonia in our information space. It may change something.